Discord stood watching Tyrek as he laughed at the 5 ponies in the steel cage. "Why are you doing this? I thought we were friends," Fluttershy cried, holding Applejack. He felt a pull at his heart when he saw her tear-filled eyes, but quickly covered it up with sarcasm. "Oh, we were. Surely you saw this coming." "I didn't. I really didn't," she sobbed. Tyrek then levitated the cage, and the 5 screamed as he began to absorb the magic. Discord had to turn away, unable to ignore the pain in his chest. Suddenly, the land around him shifted. "What the?" he thought as he looked around him watching Ponyville, Tyrek, and the 5 ponies melt away. There was fog everywhere, and it was completely silent. Discord continued to look around, but could no longer see the only one thing he desperately needed to. "Fluttershy! Fluttershy! Fluttershy!" Discord sat up, shouting her name aloud. He lost his balance and stumbled out of bed, but since it was on the ceiling, he crashed to the floor. "Ow!" He rubbed his head and looked around his chaotic room. He sighed. He was back in his room at the castle in the Everfree Forest. It had been awarded to him by Princess Twilight after he helped defeat Tyrek. She had told him that it would be his land and he would have the freedom to use his magic how he wished there, so long as it didn't affect anybody outside of the area. He grimaced as he stood, not that he really deserved any praise, let alone a reward, since he could have ended Tyrek's rampage a lot sooner than he did. The image from his dream flashed into his mind, and he realized the guilt was still clawing at him. Even if his friends said they had forgiven him for what he had done, he didn't, especially after what he had done to Fluttershy. She was his first and truest friend, always standing by his side, even when others were quick to suspect the worst of him. Now look how he had repaid all the wonderful kindness she had shown him. He had broken her heart. He covered his face with his claw, and sighed. "I'll make it up to you, Fluttershy, I swear." Fluttershy yawned and stretched in her bed, taking a deep breath. There was such a sweet aroma in the air. She opened one eye slowly. Sitting next to her bed was a bouquet of roses. She blinked and sat up fully. Looking around, she let out a small gasp. Her room was covered with flowers. Everywhere she looked, there was a vase of roses, lilies, tulips, the list goes on. "Oh my!" She gently got out of bed, careful not to knock any of the vases. She went to her bedroom door and opened it slowly, peeking out into the hall. She opened the door fully and looked down. There was a single rose laying on the floor. She picked it up and stared at it in confusion. Then she looked over and noticed there was a trail of roses leading down the stairs to the living room. Curious, she followed it, picking up each rose in turn. When she reached the living room, she had another small bouquet of roses. She smiled as she gave them a small sniff. They smelled wonderful, like springtime. What the roses were leading to was a large green present sitting in the center of the living room. Now what could this be? She wondered, since it wasn't her birthday, so she knew that meant this probably wasn't Pinkie Pie's doing, although it was still a possibility. So curiosity got the better of her, and she untied the yellow ribbon. As soon as it was undone, confetti burst out and a loud voice rang out, "Surprise!" Fluttershy shrieked and took off into the air until she noticed it was Discord leaning against the box's edge. Oh, Discord, you startled me." "Oh, my apologies, my dear." He snapped his fingers, and the box, along with the confetti, disappeared. "Just thought I would drop in on my dearest friend and brighten her morning. Do you like your surprise?" he asked with so much hope and big eyes. It caused Fluttershy to giggle. "Oh yes, the flowers were lovely, but Discord." "Yes, my dear." "What are you doing here?" Discord's ears fell flat, and he looked away, rubbing his paw and claw together nervously. "Well, I thought I'd drop by and maybe we could go out and spend some time together." Fluttershy flew down to Discord and took his lying paw and smiled up at him. It never ceased to amaze Discord how beautiful she was when she smiled so sweetly at him. He felt his heart jump. "Oh, Discord, that's so sweet. Of course I'd love to do something together. Just let me feed my animals and then I can pack a picnic." "No, my dear, allow me. I wish to treat my friend to all the best today. I want you to simply relax and enjoy it." He snapped his fingers again. "There, that takes care of the animals. Now are you ready to go?" She nodded, and he snapped his fingers again. In the flash of light, they were setting in the garden of his estate. "Discord, this is lovely. Did you redo your garden? I don't remember it being so, well, normal." She flushed and rushed on. Oh, not that there's anything wrong. I mean, how it was before was... Oh my, I'm sorry. She lowered her head, covering half her face with her pink mane. Discord chuckled to himself. She was so cute when she got all flustered, probably why he enjoyed teasing her so much. Yes, darling, I changed it so it would be more sedate for today's visit. She relaxed and graced him with another of her dazzling smiles. He felt his cheeks warming. What is going on today? Maybe I need to get out of the sun. Well, dear Fluttershy, shall we? He snapped his fingers when they were under a tree shade on a picnic blanket. Discord then laid down on his stomach and crossed his lion paw, over his eagle claw. Fluttershy sat down on the blanket as they were facing each other. What would you like to eat? Anything is fine, Discord. What about a fruit bowl? She nodded and he snapped his fingers, and with a poof, a fruit bowl for her and a bowl of cotton candy with chocolate syrup for him. Fluttershy giggled at his choice. How he enjoyed the sound. When she laughed around him, he felt his heart swell and a warmth spread through him. He rested his chin on his eagle claw as he watched her eat her fruit. This is really good, and it's so peaceful. Thank you, Discord. This was a wonderful idea. He sighed, and it took him a moment till he realized he hadn't answered her when her look turned to one of confusion. Discord, are you okay? Oh, yes, I'm fine. I'm just happy you're enjoying yourself, my dear. What in a question was happening to him? This was his friend Fluttershy, and they had been on several picnics just like this one, but for some reason today felt different. At least for him it did. Discord, can I ask you something? She looked away shyly, snapping him out of his own thoughts. Anything, my dear, you know that. He smiled reassuringly at her, even so it seemed to take her a few minutes to gain the courage to voice her thoughts out loud. Well, I was just wondering, not that this isn't nice, but, well, Discord, is something bothering you? He sat up a bit, shocked at her statement mostly because it was true. No. Why would anything be wrong? I just wanted to spend more quality time with my close friend, that's all. He smiled at her, rubbing the back of his neck, but she didn't seem convinced. Discord. She moved closer to him and placed her hoof on his lion paw. You know, if something is bothering you, you can always tell me. I want to help any way I can. He blushed slightly at her statement and smiled, laying his eagle claw over her hoof. Then his smile fell and ears dropped. Nothing gets past you, my dear. Yes, I had something on my mind recently. Yes, she encouraged. So Discord sighed and told her about the dreams he'd been having and how he couldn't stop thinking about his betrayal of his friends. The biggest fear I have is that in joining T-Rex and betraying all of you, I may have lost the most important thing in my life. He looked into her beautiful teal eyes and placed his claw against her soft cheek. You. She blushed slightly and then rubbed her cheek against his palm. His heart rate tripled in speed and a nagging feeling tried to push its way into his mind, but he didn't have time to analyze it. Oh dear Discord, you haven't lost anything? She placed her hooves around his neck in a gentle hug. Everyone has forgiven you, including me. I understand that T-Rex tricked you with false promises. He wrapped his arms around her, returning her hug. There's no excuse for what I did. I know, but I also understand how frustrated you were being on your best behavior all the time to please Princess. Ha, it wasn't for any princess I held back my chaos, he muttered. Celestia and I know you're still new to how friendship works. Don't worry, I'll always be by your side to help you through any worries or trouble you may go through. He felt tears form in his eyes as he hugged her tighter against him, nuzzling his snout in her hair. She had no possible way of knowing what her words meant to him. Not only did they reassure him of her loyalty, but they also caused a deep warmth to spread through his entire being into his heart, causing it to swell. His head shot up as realization hit him full force. Fluttershy pulled back from the hug and looked up at him, concern etched on her face. Disco stared down at the sweet mare he held slightly in his arms. Suddenly, she looked different. Her mane and coat were glowing and her eyes seemed larger, sparkling a deeper teal. His breathing became shallow, and panic gripped him in its tight grasp as the truth found its way into his mind. He hadn't been afraid of losing their friendship, he had just been afraid of losing her. Dear Celestia, I'm falling in love with her.